Things are about to get good, man. The mainstream liberal corporate media, they can see that they're losing their control over people's minds. And they honestly don't know what to do. They've never been in that position before. So they just keep going back to the gaslight. And the gas doesn't work. And when the gas doesn't work, man, they just turn it up harder. And here's the thing, if you are in such bad shape that you're bringing on Maxine Waters to try and shore up the narrative, to try and sell this garbage to more people, it's over, man. You got to pull the plug. I mean, it is over. She has a pretty standard rambling meltdown. Nothing noteworthy, but always fun to watch. But first, guys, if you want your propaganda properly set, you got to get Clinton fixer and Clinton enabler George Stephanopoulos. You got to tag him in.
Repeating lies about the 2020 election and refusing to commit to accept the results if he loses again in 2024. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl has the story. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. And a reminder of what happened in 2020, Donald Trump is once again refusing to say whether he will accept the results of the presidential election, and he is suggesting there could be violence if he loses. Donald Trump is making it clear he is only ready to accept the results of the election if he likes them, telling the Milwaukee Journal, quote, "If everything's honest, I'll gladly accept the results. I don't change on that. If it's not, you have to fight for the right of the country." In another recent interview, Trump dismissed the threat of violence by his supporters, saying, quote, "I think we're going to have a big victory, and I think there will be no violence."
Luckily, I mean, fewer people every single day actually take these people seriously, right? All Trump said was, I'll accept whatever happens if everything is honest. I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last few years. I mean, no matter what side you're on, I think it's pretty safe to say that honesty is not exactly a cornerstone of our current ruling class. I mean, that is, if you can't admit to that, then the gaslight has worked on you. But now you have the most dishonest part of the machine pounding the drum of bloodbath and dictatorship and, see, we told you, he's an election denier. He won't accept the results of the election, which honestly, just like his philandering and his alleged fraud and his alleged lust for war and authoritarianism, really, when you think about it, make him a pretty perfect Democrat. So I'm still not exactly sure why these guys even hate the guy so much. But anyway, like everything else that Donald Trump has ever said, he did not actually say that he wouldn't accept the election. And anyone paying attention heard exactly what he said. But anyway, George is not going to cut it. We got to tap in Maxine Waters. Maybe Maxine Waters can save the narrative.
Your reaction to Trump saying, if everything's honest, everything's above board, to his point of view, he'll gladly accept the results of the country. But if not...
Well, first of all, you can't trust anything that Donald Trump has to say. No matter if he loses, he's going to say that it was fraud. He still has not accepted what happened in the last presidential election. And so we have to be very concerned about a former president of the United States talking about attacking his own country, talking about perhaps a bloodbath, talking about perhaps there's going to be trouble. He said it in so many different ways. We should take him seriously. Mm-hmm. This man does not believe in the Constitution. He wants to be a dictator. This is a dangerous human being. And we have to know what our country is going to do to protect us from him. Well, yes.
Yeah, well,
Listen to this insanity, man. We have to know what our country, meaning her, I think, is going to do to protect us from him. Well, I mean, what do you think she means? I mean, what can she mean? And why? How do these people think it's their place to protect us from anyone at all that's running from public office? I mean, they've done what were going to try anyway. I mean, they ran a couple impeachment scams. That, of course, didn't work. They're running multiple criminal cases that are all falling apart, and they're each wonderful way. They ran civil grifts, for lack of a better term, that literally no one cared about except for the mush brains who care about everything Trump. They even tried the 14th friggin' Amendment. I mean, that was so long ago, it feels like, but that was insane. And they basically have activist attorneys living at the Supreme Court, just trying things on. And what is left for them to even do? And don't even answer that, because there's only one thing that they have not tried. And we don't want to put that kind of craziness, that kind of insanity out into the universe, man. But this stuff is crazy. I mean, these are the people that think we want them to protect us. And really, they're the ones we probably need the most protection from. I mean, when I think about it, I actually feel a little bit bad for Maxine Waters. I mean, do these powerful old dinosaurs just not have families, not have friends, not have anyone that's just there to say, hey, it's time, man. You got to call it. Just go down to Florida. Enjoy the rest of your life. You've done enough. Good effort, but it's over. Because, and these people, man, they won't go away. And a lot of them are so freaking evil that they'll probably live forever because that's what evil people do. But I don't know. I don't see why these are the people that the establishment keeps parading out to browbeat us, man. It's either a big middle finger to real Americans, like, you're just going to shut up and take it. This is who's in charge and you're going to like it. Or it's about plausible deniability. Like, only a senile old Democrat could possibly even pretend to believe that Donald Trump is talking about attacking his own country when he talked about a bloodbath for the auto industry. I mean, these are not serious people, obviously.
Do to protect us from him. Yes.
No, yeah. I know you can keep going for this whole hour, Congresswoman, on that. But speaking of the Constitution, Trump says in that time interview that he would not seek to overturn or ignore the Constitution's prohibition on a third term. Do the American people believe that? Do you believe that?
No. Absolutely not. As I said, you can't believe anything that Donald Trump has to say. Donald Trump will do any and everything that he can possibly get away with. He does not at all support the Constitution of the United States of America. This is a man who we'd better be careful about. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the Justice Department and I'm going to ask the president to tell us what they're going to do to protect this country against violence if he loses. I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with, who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack. We need to know now, given that he's telling us that there's going to be violence if he loses. We need to know what his plan is.
How freaking crazy are these people, man? She sounds like she actually believes this shit. I mean, how is that even possible? Who is giving information to this woman? It's like she's got Rachel Maddow just like mainlined into her veins. I mean, does she have her staff must just be full of elder abusing, agenda driven freaking lunatics. I mean, there is no way that she believes this stuff. I mean, Donald Trump, I will admit, obviously should be more careful with his words by now, but really, I mean, how careful can you really be? He used the term bloodbath in a financial conversation like a million other politicians and pundits and people have done before. And this dinosaur seems to actually have been told that Donald Trump has promised violence and that they're factions of MAGA cult member Trump supporters training up in the hills somewhere to indiscriminately attack cities. I mean, they allow this stuff on the air, man. And she wants the DOJ to hatch a plan to stop them, all while she's never even mentioned or given any thought to the actual violence that we're seeing in our cities right now, on college campuses right now. And I can promise you, man, just like we saw from Donald Trump's inauguration onward, there will be actual violence when Joe Biden loses. And it's not going to be crazy MAGA Hill people coming into cities. I mean, but these people don't care. They don't care about actual violence. They don't care about division. They care about power. They care about agenda. They care about themselves only. I mean, that is it. She doesn't want a DOJ plan to minimize and stop Antifa type violence, just the mythical MAGA Hill people. I mean, obviously, I keep saying it, but these, I think it's pretty obvious, are not serious people. But this is what we sent to Washington, man, and that is our fault. I don't think there's a better example of why we need freaking term limits than Maxine Waters. I mean, these are not well people. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And guys, if you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.